Hi, this is Cecilia Oliveira, and this is How I Got Into Data, a Woman in Data podcast limited series. When I changed careers, I didn't expect to find so many people that do not come from a traditional data or STEM background. There's so many incredibly interesting stories. This Women in Data podcast spin-off is about representation, diversity, and finding your own place in the data world. It has been 3 years since I transitioned from hospitality sales to data analyst, and although it felt like I was throwing myself from a cliff and hoping data would catch me at the bottom of it, I couldn't be happier with the choice I made. I had the chance to chat to some amazing women who wanted to share their stories. They're so inspiring, and I hope they inspire you too. Enjoy! I'm excited to chat today with Savannah Brown, who is here to share her incredible story from the medical field to becoming a data and insight analyst. This episode promises to be filled with valuable insights and inspiration, especially for those considering a major career change. Savannah's stories highlight the power of transferable skills and the endless possibilities within the data industry. Have fun! Hi everyone, it's Cecilia again, and now I have Savannah Brown here with me, who is going to share a little bit of her data journey. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Yep, so my name's Savannah, and I'm currently a data and insight analyst at a university. My first degree was in medical science, and I worked in the medical industry for a little while. And then I decided to transition into data. So now I'm a data analyst.
So when did you realize that you wanted to move to the data world after doing all of those studies, which I'm sure were not the easiest?
Yeah, definitely wasn't the easiest. It was a science background. In the role I had, I was a clinic coordinator. So that was the role I had right before my data job. And I didn't really feel quite fulfilled in that role. I felt like it was quite stagnant. I missed the idea of learning because the role became a bit routine and structured, and it wasn't really challenging me as much. I definitely wanted more flexibility in my role as well, a bit more of a challenge. And yeah, I missed learning. Thought, let me look into something more in the tech world. I heard more about roles in tech and how there was different opportunities there. So I thought I'd look into it.
Oh, that sounds good. So from that moment when you decided, I'm going to think about it, I'm going to look into it. So what steps did you take from I want to look into it to I'm now fully into it?
So the first steps I took was looking into what jobs there were in the tech world because I wasn't familiar with all of them. So I had a look around and tried to think of what I could see myself doing long term and what I enjoyed. And then I came across data analytics, and I thought that was quite up my street because I didn't have any coding experience, but I did do maths at A level. And I know there's a bit of statistics involved within data. So first I looked at the skills that were needed to be a data analyst, and I saw that skills such as SQL, Tableau, and Excel popped up quite a lot. So I thought that it made sense for me to teach myself that. So I did a course with Code First Girls, which was a introduction to SQL. And that was really interesting. I had a really good instructor. I had a really good cohort as well. We're all really supportive of each other. And I did a project at the end of that. And I actually based that project on my current role, which was in the medical clinic. I then did a Udemy course on Tableau and Excel and did another project to showcase those skills. Once I'd done the technical skills, I started thinking about the soft skills as well, what skills I could kind of bring in from my previous role. So I connected with people on LinkedIn as well to see what a day in the life of like a data analyst was, what sort of things that roles were kind of looking for. So I could tailor my CV towards that. I also attended in-person events such as the Code First Girls, Code Fest event, and also a career transitioning event hosted by Women in Data. I attended in November, which was really insightful. I got to hear from speakers that didn't have a traditional background like me and how they transitioned and their stories. So that was really inspiring as well. And also a chance to network with other people that were in a similar bit to me.
When you talk about it like this, it feels like it's very structured. I'm sure it didn't feel very structured at the moment, but it feels like you had a plan. I love it.
Yeah, the bits were definitely intertwined within each other. It wasn't as as planned out as it sounds.
Oh, no, no, I can't imagine. But I find it so encouraging when you think, well, I don't have any coding experiences. However, I will look into what I can do. And one thing that I've heard a lot of people since I've started doing this spin-off is the support in the courses of the people that were doing the courses too, and how everyone is supporting each other, how everyone is holding each other's hand, and like, I don't get this, I don't know how to get to it, can you show me how you got to it, or let's do it together. And I feel that this is something I've also experienced when I stopped everything to study. And it's so valuable. I think we sometimes underestimate the power of other people helping other people in your cohort that are exactly in the same position. And you just sometimes you don't dare say that you're struggling, but whenever you're starting to drown and you raise your hand and you go, I'm sorry guys, I'm drowning. Is anyone else? And then you're like, oh,
Everyone offers. Yeah.
you're never by yourself. So tell me, what was the scariest part for you in this
I
transition?
think the scariest part for me was the unknown. Since I had studied medical science, I was such from an untraditional background that a lot of the things I was learning I wasn't familiar with. And sometimes I would second guess myself and think that I wouldn't be able to actually get a role within data. But and also networking, which is why I kind of pushed myself to attend in-person events because naturally I'm quite an introverted person. So I thought, let me push myself and just try to go to events. Even if I just talk to one person, I'm sure I'll learn something insightful from them or get some sort of experience. I also started posting on LinkedIn to try and interact with people a bit more, just to try and get over that hurdle of networking, because I felt like it would be a valuable skill. When I do get the role, I'm going to have to be talking to different stakeholders. I'm going to be have to do interviews. So yeah, that was the bit that was a bit challenging for me. And I did see everywhere like networking is key. It's important to get to know people and that sort of thing. So I thought, let me try and push myself to,
The imposter syndrome, come on, let's be honest, everyone's got it.
yeah,
And, we just need to get over ourselves. And I say this with such easy, of course it's easy, let's do it. It's not. We all know. It's a daily process, I guess. But the networking, absolutely. I come from also a background where networking was like, you need to do networking, otherwise, why are you doing this? And it is hard in the beginning. And the first time you do it, you just,
a bit awkward. Yeah.
again, everyone is in the same boat. You have to push through it. And then once you've done it, you're like, oh.
It's not that bad.
And then you go to the second event and you're like, oh, I've met this person last time. She's really lovely. And then you go on and you continue, and it definitely makes a difference.
It definitely gets easier as well, like you said.
Yeah. So what's the most important advice you wish someone had told you when you started thinking about transitioning your career into data?
I think the most important would be using what you know, using your current experience or prior experience and utilizing it to your advantage to incorporate it within what you're learning. I think no matter what background you come from or what role you were in before, there's always some sort of experience you have that you can utilize when it comes to a role in data. So for me, I had a customer facing role. So I was always dealing with different people. I led the cardiology team. So I was in charge of making sure the clinics ran smoothly, speaking with patients, making sure they were happy. And I tried to use that skill within and showcase it in my CV to show that I'm good with working with people. I'm good with making sure clients leave happy. So when I am dealing with stakeholders and making dashboards for different people of different needs, I'm able to have that skill. I wouldn't have to learn it from fresh, if that makes sense. So utilizing soft skills that everybody has, regardless of what your background career is in, I'd say that's definitely important, not just to focus on the technological skills and the SQL and the Python. Use what you know as well to your advantage.
Yeah, that's a great advice. I really like that. I think we sometimes always think, oh, it's data. You need to talk about the coding, about the apps, whatever you can build and dashboards and things like that. But also, if you can't talk to the people in your business, you won't be able to build anything.
Exactly. Or even if you build it, no one's going to listen. They're not going to understand it if you're not communicating it in the right way.
Exactly. Absolutely. Now, the last question, tell me what's you're most proud of?
What I'm most proud of, it sounds so cliche, but it's just the fact that I that I did it. The fact that I actually transitioned from a non-traditional background and I stuck to it. It did take me 8 months or 9 months in total, but throughout the highs and the lows, I stuck to it. I stuck to my plan, even though a lot of the times I felt like I couldn't do it. And it's not for me, it's not for people from my background, it's not for people that look like me. But in the end, I did it. I was determined. I was working full time as well. And yeah, I got what I wanted in the end. And I'm also doing a master's in data analytics as well. So I feel like I got more than I bargained for by working hard. And I'm proud of like how disciplined I was and that I stuck to it.
This actually makes me smile because yeah, you did it. You got it. You done it. And you should be definitely very, very proud of yourself.
Thank you.
I think, when you come from different backgrounds or different places or, the non-traditional STEM people or whatever it is, wherever you come from, there is space. You just need to find your little gap, but there is space for everyone.
Definitely. I definitely agree with that.
Thank you so much, Savannah.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to How I Got Into Data. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe for more content. Remember, your feedback is important to us, so please leave a review if you can. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.